Throughout the competitive Smash Bros. Scene, Fox has been one of the consistently best characters, ranking among the best in 4 of the 5 games. Fox holds the highest gravity in the game, which gives him some outstanding movement, which, combined with his quick grounded and aerial moves, gives him some amazing combos as well. For each game, Fox's placement depends on how well he is able to play to his strengths and combos, killing, and movement, as well as outmaneuver his poor disadvantage state. Fox mains, maining one of the most popular characters in the series, have done extensive work to Fox to keep him as a true classic Smash Bros. Character. In this video, Fox's time throughout the Smash series will be looked at. Today we will be analyzing Fox's moves, results, strengths, and weaknesses as we take a deep dive into Fox as a Smash Bros. Fighter. There's a reason that Fox is one of the best characters in the series overall, and that is due to his tremendous strengths resulting primarily from his fast faller characteristic. This speed in his gravity, but also in his ground and air speed, combined with his quick moves, allows Fox to have some of the craziest combos in the game. About all of his moves are framed 10 or faster to start, and despite them not doing the most damage, he is still able to convert his long strings into killing moves, eventually, in all the 5 Smash games. His attribute as the character with the fastest falling speed also helps him in his ledge trapping, where Fox can pressure so many different options quickly, with a decent reaction time, simply due to his crazy movement speed and quick moves. His ability to pressure the ledge and force his opponents back off stage is one of the reasons that Fox can keep his advantage for so long. But this would all be for none if Fox could not kill, but that is another issue. With combos into up smash in both Smash games and other killing moves in others, despite Fox not having the easiest killing moves to hit raw, he can combo into them quite easily and makes it even easier since he can hit with a faster, weaker move into a stronger killing move to end stocks so quickly. While Fox has been amazing due to these special characteristics that he holds, they are really polarizing and do have some downsides as well. Fox is able to use his fast fall to combo other characters, but since it pulls him down to the ground so quickly, it also makes him really easy to get comboed. He gets juggled to oblivion, since he just sinks back down to the opposing character's combo or killing aerials without the ability to really wiggle his way out like floaty characters who are given more time to react and avoid this problem. As for his offstage game, Fox struggles with his recovery, and this is mainly due to his up B. Firefox goes decently far in some Smash games, but the real problem is that it has a long startup time, as he charges up, which gives a large window for his opponent to come off and edgeguard him. His side B is not much help either, especially in the earlier games, where both of these moves could not be used together, and even in the latter games, where he still struggles due to both of their startup frames and the linearity of their moves. Fox is certainly an interesting character, as with almost all of his strengths, there is a weakness that counteracts it, both stemming from the same characteristic, mostly his status as a fast faller in all Smash games. Right off the bat, Fox was seen as a really good character in Smash 64, due to him highlighting his strengths that were discussed before. Fox has 2 main reasons as why he is so strong in the early meta of Smash 64, his quick combo starters and his killing power. Since all Smash 64 characters have 0 to death on pretty much the entire cast, combos in this game are not really what sets characters apart, and puts them at the top of the tier list. But since they are such a polarizing part of the meta, Fox's ability to win neutral and start his combos due to his quick moves was a huge benefit for him, and allowed him to win interactions more than his opponent, therefore, in theory, taking the stock between the 2 evenly matched players earlier. This, alongside his strong ability to kill once he got the combo, put him in 4th place, at the top of high tier, out of the 12 characters in the game in the first tier list. He set a strong precedent, as the only other character better than him had either an insane recovery, massive hitboxes, or was way overrated at the time, in Pikachu, Kirby, and Ness. With Fox having his quick combo starters and Captain Falcon having his vertical combos, the top 5 in this list, without Ness, were jockeying for their spots among themselves. In the second tier list, Fox gained a little bit more and jumped over Kirby, making it into S tier, as the community believed that Fox's quick moves were better in the current meta than Kirby's large hitboxes and gimping ability. At the time, this was accurate, due to the competitive scene, since they were favoring safe play at the time. Once the third list hit, however, Fox was pushed back out over Kirby, putting him in third place. For the fourth and final list, Fox was bumped even further down, this time behind Captain Falcon, as he was in fourth place in A tier. This was mainly due to worse tournament results, and the loss of Hyrule Castle as a legal stage, which limited Fox's combos from the lack of walls on Dreamland. Despite Fox falling in the meta for this game, he still ranks in the coveted top 4, and will remain as one of the greats in this game forever. Since Fox is a strong character in Smash 64, he does have a lot of results. More in the early meta, but still tons in the late meta as well. The top solo Fox player, ranked 11th in the world, LD, also known as Blue Suit, Fox, Sleepy Fox, and Rain Shifted, is one of the best Foxes in North America currently, and has some amazing places with the character at the top level. While there are not a lot of solo Foxes anymore since most players dropped him, players such as Isaiah, Super Boom Fam, Alvis, Tamai, and Sensei all use Fox. These players all play better characters now, but got real great results from Fox at the time. Both the old and the new Fox guard puts this character at the top of the meta, and certainly gets him ready for the next game. We have finally made it to the first character in the series who is the best in their game, with Fox in Melee. Fox kept most of the same characteristics in the transition, but just ended up getting so much better due to subtle move and engine changes. As for his characteristics, the biggest change was to his attribute as a fast faller. With the fast engine in Melee, the devs decided to almost double his gravity, and have him be even more of a fast faller that allowed him to do so much more than his Smash 64 counterpart ever could do. As for the moves, Fox had a few total move changes, moves which involved the use of the forward direction. Forward air, forward smash, and forward tilt all had new animations and uses, but nothing character defining, but were all a change for the better. Other than that, he got a new back air and the addition of an up and down throw, along with a side B. But two moves that really allowed Fox to become the best character in this game are two special moves, Laser and Shine. As for lasers, these became a lot faster in Melee from Smash 64, and the biggest change is that they now do not do knockback, which makes it so much easier for Fox to rack up damage and pressure his opponents from across the stage with ease. As for Shine, this went from being a niche reflector to the best move in the game by far, and maybe in the series. It became frame 1, invincible, gained the ability to be jumped out of, and other options such as jump canceling and wave shining, and it can also shine spike. While this move's primary use in theory stayed the same, its other aspects made Fox so good in Melee. As almost anyone who follows Smash Bros. Knows, Fox did not become the best Melee character solely due to his own moves, but rather the movement enabled by the engine. First and most obvious was the addition of wave dashing. By air dodging into the ground, Fox gained a new movement option that allowed him to put his ground speed into even higher heights and mix up his opponents in all three stages of the game, the advantage, neutral, and disadvantage. Along with the specifics of wave dashing, and all the other mechanics that come with it, L canceling was another amazing option for Fox in this game, as it gave him another way to speed up his gameplay. This mechanic, which removes frames off of landing aerials with a shield button press while landing, gave Fox just so much more speed. While there is less hit stun in this game than compared to Smash 64, the melee hit stun is still immense and allowed Fox to continue his long combos, but instead of them having to be vertical as in Smash 64, they were a lot more fluid and had a large emphasis on horizontal movement. The one aspect that brings Fox down is his recovery, and this is hindered by the game, as most characters have edgeguarding tools that can beat Fox's recovery, but that is really the only loss this engine gave Fox. As with most best characters in their specific game, in Smash at least, it took some time before the competitive scene really started to understand the power this character had, and therefore, he was not ranked first on the first tier list in the game. At the beginning, Sheik was actually number 1, Falco was 2, and Fox was 3. This was the lowest placing Fox would ever have in this game, and this was solely due to the fact that all the technical movements that he has involving wave dashing were undiscovered yet. The early meta was quickly changing, and just in the second tier list in December of 2002, Fox moved up and was placed number 2 above Falco out of the 26 characters in the game. A few solid Fox players at this time really pushed the meta, and mostly Advantage State to pull him up in the tier list. In the middle era of Melee, characterized by the 5 gods, Fox was unanimously seen as the best character in the game, and this was matched by the 9th tier list in 2008, where he finally took his spot as the best character in Melee. In the top tier, along Marth, Sheik, and Falco. But surprisingly, of the 5 gods, none of them solo mained Fox. Mewtwo King and Mango did use him as a mix-up option to their Marth and Falco respectively, but with the rise of Leffen and the solo use of Fox, he was the only real predominant solo Fox in the meta at the time. But this quickly changed, as many Fox players started to rise, and this gave rise to the 20XX joke due to the dominance of Fox at the time, which says that in a year 20XX, everybody will play Fox to a perfect level, causing the competitive scene of Melee essentially be based off the rock, paper, scissors and port priority from the start of the match. However, this has not occurred yet, but in the current and newest period of the Melee scene, there are a few Fox mains, but a lot more character diversity. In the final tier list in 2021, Fox still sits at number 1 of the S tier. While the general perspective of the character has faltered a bit due to players finally figuring out how to deal with Fox after playing against him for so long, he still takes that number 1 spot overall and is not going anywhere anytime soon. The strongest results section in the series so far is going to take place with Melee Fox. Of all Melee players, almost all of them are either a Fox main, have mained Fox, or have a Fox secondary for some matchups. At the head of the Fox main lists, there are players such as Leffen, Mango, Mewtwo King, Pluck, IBDW, Moki, SFAT, and Fiction, who either do or did dominate the meta with this character. Other than those few, there are some mains in a different caliber due to the time they played with their skill level, such as Chillin' Dude, Lucky, Professor Pro, Armada, Hax, PC Chris, and Drugged Fox. There's so many more top players who main this character in Melee, but these group of players have taken wins at almost every major tournament series, and that is not looking to slow down anytime soon. The only thing that could have stopped Fox in his track was not the character, was not the mains, nor the competitive scene, but a new game itself, in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. After being one of the best characters in the Smash series, Fox fell off a little bit in the switch between Melee and Brawl. He did not turn into a bad character, but lost a lot of the aspects that made him so great in Melee from both changes in his moves attributes and the engine. While he got no actual total move changes in the switch, 2 moves that helped him a lot in Melee were pretty much altered on how they were used. The most influential was the reduced viability of Shine. In Brawl, Shine's function is pretty much only at a reflector and nothing else. Since there was no wave dashing or any other movement options in this game that were similar to Melee, all the special attributes that Shine had were non-existent in Brawl. It could not be jump cancelled, used to break combos, or even do combos itself. This left a very big hole in Fox's game and limited his movement options in Brawl. Other than this, Fox's down throw now sent opponents upward instead of leading into a tech chase scenario, removing one of Fox's best combo starters or killing options into just a damaging throw. But Fox was not only nerfed in the transition due to his moveset. The real change was from the engine that Brawl introduced. Due to Brawl's slower and more forgiving engine, to assist with the casual scene from the developer's standpoint, Fox's quick speed and high gravity, which accounted for so many of his combos and kills, now became a detriment to his game. Combos were essentially non-existent due to the addition of hit stun cancelling, and this limited Fox's ability to make his quick tilts and combo starters for a greater purpose. His fast falling did, however, make it a lot easier for other characters to get combos off on him and sink him down on the tier list. Other than these aspects, since tripping was added, Fox could not really use his ground speed to his advantage and had to rely on his horizontal air speed and acceleration, which combined with his high gravity did not help him very much, and it made it hard for Fox to use his combo game. This made him rely so much more on his lasers, which could be used for damage, but didn't really have a good time killing as it did no knockback. His neutral was in theory good, but since he could not get in, it limited him a ton in that regard. For all of his flaws in Brawl, Fox was not actually that terrible in the 3rd Smash game. He was nowhere near the top, and had an extremely difficult time dealing with most of the top or high tiers, but he was not a bottom character at all. Fox's worst game in the series had him starting off in 19th place out of the total of 37 characters in the game, in the middle tier, behind the underplaced Olimar and above Zelda. Not a bad start for your worst placement. The changes from Melee discussed earlier were really the reason as to why Fox dropped this much. Other than that though, and for Brawl Fox especially, since DI and Tumble was taken out of the game, Fox could not use that as a method for wriggling out of vertical combos, but since Fox was such a beloved character in the series prior to this game, there were definitely players who stuck it out with the character and did their best to inform the Brawl community that while Fox could not compete with the top tiers, he could contest with some high tiers, and could perform well in specific matchups. While this was happening though, it took Fox players a while to discover the tech and movement needed to do so. So Fox dropped in the tier list due to other characters figuring out easy gimmicks on him before he discovered chain grabs, dirty edge hogs, and edge guards to do on them. This caused him to drop before he could go up in the second tier list at his lowest placing ever in the series so far, in 24th place in the E tier, between Bowser and Sheik. Finally, in the middle of 2009, Fox players started to get their fitting and tried to make it work with the character. They discovered the game plan that made matchups like Falco and Zero Suit Samus even, along with winning matchups on King Dedede and Lucario, characters above him in the tier list. After all these years of putting in the work, it finally paid off, as Fox was ranked 15th in the C tier at the end of Brawl's primary life cycle, as Fox players' dedication helped the community rediscover Fox in Smash. Even though Fox was mid-tier and had dedicated mains in a polarizing game like Brawl, this does not mean that there were a lot of players competing with this character and getting results. Most notable were the Fox players in their specific regions, for example CRZ in the UK, TVK in Mexico, Travante in the US, and Yui in Japan. These players just kept playing Fox and pushed the character to his limit, and allowed the community not only to get a better understanding of the game, but of his character and the tier list. They changed Fox's archetype for this game, not to a typical rushdown character, but something else that informed the community on his placement. While Fox was not the best, he played a critical role in the general Smash meta, and was the link between Melee and future Smash games. From Fox's design in Brawl, there were not many moveset changes into his Smash 4 counterpart, but he did change his spot on the tier list significantly. But this was not truly seen in his own attribute change from Smash Brawl to Smash 4. In the transition, Fox got lighter, got nerfs to his overall frame data, kill power, and therefore overall neutral. This meant that he suffered a lot more when playing the game, even more than Brawl. While none of these moves changed entirely, he did get a nerf on Shine. Fox can no longer do multiple Shine stalls in the air off the stage, and this puts him at an even worse position, as this was an amazing option when Fox was getting juggled by other characters due to his high gravity, but now he just gets juggled for a long time, especially with Smash 4's crazy up air strings from characters such as Mario and Zero Suit Samus. However, even though Fox had all of these nerfs, he was a much better character in Smash 4, being one of the best in the game actually, and this was due to engine changes primarily, and one larger movement alteration, which is to his side B. Fox now did not enter freefall after using his Fox Illusion, and this gave him two recovery options, his side and up B, either to mix up opponents or, new to this game, used together. Since Fox's rise in the meta was not from his moveset change, his improvement almost fully occurred due to the crazy engine shift from Brawl to Smash 4. Three large changes helped Fox, one for each aspect of the game. In the disadvantage, there was no more chain grabbing, a severe problem for Fox. With the removal of this mechanic, Fox would now not rack up 40 to 50% damage on him just for getting grabbed once without an escape. This would let him play the game for longer and give him more time in the neutral, which is amazingly proved by the mix-up options. Fox is one of the characters that used Smash 4's amazing mechanic of running through opponents to mix them up in the neutral, as he kept his mobility for getting in. Despite the nerf to his move startup, the better neutral balanced it out and ended up helping him. Finally, in the advantage, Fox benefited tremendously from untechables in this game. After some weak hit, there was about a 30% chance of the move being untechable, which gave Fox the ability to set up jab locks into killing moves such as up smash. Well, just from the changes to Fox alone, it would not seem as though he would change a lot. When looking at the overall game, it becomes quite apparent how and why Fox improved in Smash 4 to the menace he was. Initially, Smash 4 players thought the same, as one would initially, just by looking at the changes. Before any tier lists were released, they thought of him as a mid or even bottom tier, maybe even being worse than his Brawl counterpart. However, as more people began to realize that Fox was more than the sum of his nerfs, this, in the first tier list, put a massive buff on him and put him in the A tier, at 7th out of the total 56 characters, due to Corrin and Bayonetta's lack of release yet. behind Mario and above Sonic. This was a crazy shift from what people first thought in the game, and was all due to the players trying their best to understand this relic of the past. As the top tier gameplay continued and more players were getting good results, which was capitalized by Larry Lurr, the best Smash 4 Fox, and his 3-0 win over Zero at CEO 2016, this cemented Fox at his spot on the tier list, again at 7th. As you can see, this was a trend, as Fox was positioned on the Smash 64 tier list, while contended, was kept steady at 7th. This is because there were groups of players who believed that he should be much higher from this advantage state, but there was another group of players who believed the opposite should happen due to his disadvantage. This ended up with Fox staying at 7th place throughout his entire time on the Smash 4 tier list, despite so many characters moving above and below him. In the end, he eventually found a partner in that spot, with Sonic joining him tied at 7th, above Zero Suit Samus and Mario respectively. Fox's result session from Smash 4 is going to be the largest in the series behind Melee Fox's, as his top tier powerhouses just drew in tons of top talent, and 9 of the top 100 players on the rankings played or heavily secondaried Fox. In the US, Larry Lurr ranked 8th, and was the main Fox talent with his aforementioned win over Zero, 2/3 at EVO and CEO 2017, and a grand final appearance at a lot of 2GGC Saga events. Other than him, Americans such as Charlie the King, Eon, Nakat, Light, and Zax were in the top 100 with Fox. As for the Japanese, Kuro, SH, and Shogun all held top spots with Fox. These players were ones that made sure that despite Fox's changes from Brawl, the community could see past what was on the paper and look at the results he was getting to be put as a top tier. Similar to the swap before, Fox did not have many moveset changes from Smash 4 to Smash Ultimate. Again, the devs thought that they had essentially perfected Fox's moveset. And honestly, they did at this point, and there was no real need for changes. Some moves did get some attribute changes, such as Fox's specials. Neutral B goes further, up B has more knockback, side B travels less distance, and Shine comes out faster. But these changes did not really make a difference in Fox's gameplay, as he played pretty much the same as he did in Smash 4, relying on high damage, long combos, finishing with a more relied upon addition in this game, usually nair to up smash to get the kill. Fox did lose the ability to run through other opponents, a universal change in Smash Ultimate, which made him lose a few of his mix-ups, an essential part of his game for starting combos. But this did not mean that Fox was bad at all. In fact, he stayed pretty much the same, as the positives and negatives, buffs and nerfs, in the end, essentially balanced out, and were not really meaningful enough to matter, which allowed Fox to excel, and maybe even improve with some of the new changes. With a few major engine changes from Smash 4 to Smash Ultimate, Fox took some increases, but also some decreases in his playing ability, but in this case, they seem to help more than hurt. The addition of directional air dodging back to the series helped Fox and gave him a new recovery option to help with his improved yet linear and slow recovery, as well as giving him a speedy way to get out of juggling setups. Once in the air, since Fox fell so fast, he could air dodge directionally through moves and attacks to get down to the ground, sometimes even faster than his opponent, which could set up into a punish for Fox. Other than that, Fox was a character that extremely benefited from less landing lag on moves in general. Since he used a lot of moves for combos in his gameplay, especially ones that relied on a mix of ground and aerial movement, this was a buff. Also, Fox increased his gravity, still at the top of the list, but even faster than before. This assisted him in his ledge trapping capabilities where he could continuously spam back airs to catch any sort of getup. Fox's placement on the tier list is not really contested, but his position in the tier he inhabits is a little up in the air. Most everyone agrees that Fox is a top tier character due to his combos, kills confirms, crazy movement, quick and pokey neutral, and his really only downside being his disadvantage. However, even though this is established by many players, people still argue where he should actually be placed in top tier. Some, such as myself, believe that Fox should be on the lower end of the scene. While his highs are really high, his lows in the gameplay are not too bright and tend to get him punished heavily, especially his fast faller characteristic, a clear double-edged sword in this game. Others think that he can be put towards the middle, as they believe his highs much outshine his lows in this game. Which side is right will be determined over time, but at least everyone can basically agree that he is in the top tier for sure. Earlier on in the meta, some top players have placed him lower as they thought he was overrated, But after the lockdown period, top Fox players have shown what Fox is capable of in this game, and these top players, such as Light, can work around Fox's flaws and highlight his strengths in the meantime. As mentioned before, the best Fox player in Smash Ultimate is Light, the current 4th best player in the world, with the newest PGRU, who solos mains Fox. Light has mastered this character for the past few games, and has gotten major wins such as a first at SmashCon Fall Fest and MomoCon 2022, and seconds at the Gimvitational and Summit 4, along with other great top placings. While Light is really the Fox guy, there are a few more players that also play him, such as Louis Money, Passeriman, and ZD, with their own great placings and winnings as well. These players, mostly Light though, have found a way to main their character in such a way that despite his heavy flaws, they can be worked around, without the need for a counterpick character. This video has shown just how dominant Fox has been throughout the entire series, and despite the dip in the middle, he really kept to his core attributes, which made it so easy for the Fox mains to transition between the games as the character. In Smash 64, Fox was a combo machine, from his quick combo starters, which gave him openings to lead into long and killing 0 deaths. In Melee, he was the best character in the game, as his full-screen punish game, his insane movement, and shine just made him skyrocket in the tier list, to become the most popular character in the game's competitive scene. In Brawl, Fox obviously dipped, but kept his core attributes about him, which led his mains to work around his flaws, and discover how to do so for the future. Fox bounced right back in Smash 4, where he joined the high tier, staying consistent throughout the entire lifetime of the game. Finally, in the current Smash Ultimate, Fox is an amazing character whose speed, combos, killing options, and so much more keep him back at the top tier character he was before. Overall, Fox's quick moves and combo ability have led him to be a truly iconic Smash character. Thank you for watching this video, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it, as well as hitting that bell for notifications. Have a good day, and as always, let's go Islanders.